What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll be diving into, I believe, day 20 or 21 of the challenge. I actually can't remember off the top of my head, but we are getting towards the tail end here of the overall free-to-play challenge in MTG Arena, where I took a free-to-play account, not spending any money and only using methods that are available to players who don't spend any money here in MTG Arena to build ourselves a constructed standard deck that is playable and can actually win games in the ranked ladder. So far, like I said, the deck has been completed. We are playing a good amount of games on the ranked ladder and slowly making our way up the ranked ladder in general. Yesterday, after yesterday's video, doing the draft, we hit Platinum Tier 4 for our draft rating for the month, which is definitely pretty awesome. As well as we also hit Gold Tier 3, which is definitely, one of those things that as we progress here through the video, I'll definitely probably at least get to Platinum, if not maybe get to Diamond by the end of this, if I'm just playing a lot of ranked games to kind of, do my daily things here in the game, whether it's to win games or whether it's to play cards of particular colors. Our rank will slowly go up as well. With that being said, in today's daily challenges that we have here, I have, cast 7 or cast 30 red or green spells. Our deck is red and white, so that's definitely something that is possible. What we have here, we also have our daily wins that reset back down to 250 gold. We're probably getting close to affording doing another standard event. That is probably what I'll do here, just because I think the Crimson Vow drafts rotates this week. I think on the 22nd it rotates to Baldur's Gate, which is not very good for us, especially being a standard player. Baldur's Gate doesn't really help us and help our collection. And I don't think I'll be able to save 5k, even if I get lucky to get that 5,000 gold I would need to do one more Crimson Vow draft. We are also level 18 on our battle pass here, slowly progressing our way through almost to the next reward that we would get, an additional pack here. It's definitely one of those things. I'm now looking at it. It's like I'm on like day 20 here, and we have 980 gold or 980 gems, and I'm kind of curious whether or not we're going to be able to get to that threshold of having enough gems to buy the master pass by the end of the 30 days. But I do think we'll be at least in a couple thousand gems saved up overall. I'm sure if I didn't go ahead earlier in this series and use gems to do additional drafts and just use the gold, we probably have a lot more gems closer to that goal of buying the master pass if we didn't do it that way. But it's still not a big deal. It's definitely something I do think that it is possible to do, maybe not within a month, but it's definitely something that's going to be overall possible as a free-to-play player to save up and possibly buy the master pass for that particular season. And the other thing is too, any progress we make on the free tier will also translate to on the bottom tier, which is the paid tier, and we'll get all the rewards unlocked instantaneously once we actually unlock the paid mastery pass. So it's not that big. We're not really losing out on much if we don't get it now. It's just we'll just get a lot more rewards down the road when that does happen. Other than that, we are still sitting at with 3 decks I should say, that we're definitely playing. One of them is the Boros aggro deck. That is our main deck. This is our ranking deck that we're using to rank up the ladder. We also have the Mirror Ninjas, which kind of covers a couple other colors we're not playing, and then we also have the Rakdos Anvil deck as well. The other thing to note is after recording yesterday's video, I did play a couple more games because we didn't have enough, wins to really get the max amount of gold for the day. So I got myself up to 5 wins, and I also did get another pack of, Baldur's Gate, which ended up having another mythic rare in it. So we're up to 3 mythic rares, 1 regular rare, 16 uncommons, and 25 common wild cards, and we're at 23.4% vault progress, which is slowly coming along, but it's definitely not one of those things because we're not really farming a ton of drafts. We're not really progressing that vault progress overall, but it's it's slowly coming. It's definitely something that we can eventually hit here on our free-to-play account. So in today's video, nothing really too crazy is going to happen. I'm just going to dive into my games. I'm going to play some games, get my daily wins out of the way, hopefully do the daily quest to get the majority of the gold, and also complete the 750 gold quest. And then we'll kind of see where we're at overall gold wise, and kind of see whether or not we'll be able to dive into some standard events tomorrow. So if you guys want to stay tuned and kind of watch my clips of me winning the games, I'll post them here, and then we'll kind of do a little bit of a wrap up and maybe talk about some other things that may have been brought up since the last video. All right, and we are back after playing our games. We did 5 games today. We did a little bit of ranked with the Boros deck. I think I got 4 wins with it, which got us up into the gold tier 1. I'm kind of blocking it. Let me switch my scene real quick. There we go. So you can see it. We're at gold tier 1, almost platinum with our constructed deck. We are platinum with our limited decks that we played with. We completed our daily quests, so we're done with the 750 gold there. We got 5 daily wins here, and I could go and get more because every other level you get like 50 gold and some master XP, but I don't think I really need to grind it out too heavily. We did get to 2,625 gold, so we're definitely good to actually do a standard event tomorrow. Still at 980 gold there, and we did level up our master pass a little bit. We're at level 20. I'm blocking it. But we did get another pack of Baldur's Gate, which I'll open up, kind of see what we got here. You know, not really looking for anything in particular from here. We got a nice Mythic, I guess, if you're into alchemy, but I'm not really myself. But other than that, you know, it's just additional progress here for the rare wildcard stuff. And I think we just got the uncommon wildcard unlocked. So we have 25 commons, 17 uncommons, 1 rare, 3 mythics, and 23.4% still on our progress overall for the vault progress. Other than that, the one thing I wanted to kind of do today, since I do have a little bit of currency to spend, and kind of just showing you like ideas of when you want to go upgrade a deck. And I actually kind of really a big fan of Rakdos Anvil. It just kind of like fits what I like to do. I know it's a little bit more of a grindy deck. I know it's not everyone's favorite when it comes to picking out decks, but this is our current Rakdos Anvil deck. I did go over this in a previous video. I'll still have a link for it down in the video description below if you didn't see that video and kind of want to, you know, take a gander and see and maybe try it out for yourself if you're kind of in that same kind of sacrifice kind of thing. But because we have some mythic wild cards, the one thing I want to kind of do is craft some Meathook Massacres because I don't own any, and it's definitely a card that's going to make this deck a lot better. Plus, it helps the deck overall because currently we're using Warlock class as kind of like our Meathook Massacre-esque card, even though it's not really a Meathook Massacre. It's just kind of like a filler card that kind of, you know, drains our opponent if we, you know, sacrifice a creature or something like that. So it's definitely something that we've been using as a placeholder, but we're going to get rid of this. And this is kind of how you would go about if you were to, you know, subtract cards. So we're going to craft 2 copies of Meathook Massacre. I don't really, you know, want to craft more than that right now. You know, having 1-on-1's fine. I don't want to go completely broke when it comes to currency. So we'll add these 2 copies of Meathook Massacre to the deck, which already is a big upgrade, I think, from what we currently have. So that we'll add those 2, and we'll just really subtract the Meathook, the Warlock classes. I mean, there is a thing to say that you could have both for the deck, as they're both very good cards. But I think it's okay that we go ahead and, you know, sacrifice the Warlock classes because that is something that's not going to be in standard come September. So it's definitely something to kind of get rid of and kind of get the replacement in the deck. And the other thing that's good for having Meathook Massacre is that it's kind of like a board stabilizer in a way, because the one thing this deck does lack, other than, you know, having a little bit of spot removal, is really just removal in general. So having some additional Meathook Massacres that kind of can wipe out a bunch of creatures with one fell swoop and a tap of a bunch of mana is definitely very good. And this is just another way that we can drain our opponent and also gain life in the process. So that's definitely good there. Now, outside of that, I mean, this deck is, you know, still performing very good. I actually really like Eaten Alive. It's really grown on me as a card, especially in this deck. Just because we can sacrifice one of our artifact creatures, which if we do it on, which we're going to do it on our turn, which will replace that creature if we have our Oni Anvil out and it's an artifact creature. And then we just exile target creature or planeswalker for only 1 mana, which is definitely awesome. And then we can also pay the 5 mana, which is the additional 4, and not sacrifice anything if we really, really wanted to. Outside of that, I think the only other things that we really want to upgrade here is maybe, other than maybe going up to like 3 or 4 copies of Meathook Massacre, would probably either be adding some additional copies of Teish's Underdog. It's not like a great creature for the deck, but it's definitely a creature that, you know, feels pretty good just because it itself also has a draw effect if we blitz it into play. And having a 3/2 for only 2 mana is definitely a strong card in general. We can also add in additional copies of Ob Nixilis. Having only 1, we don't really draw it too often, and it's definitely another way to put additional pressure on top of our opponent. And we can even use our artifacts to sack for the casualty cost for the token, if we want to do that as well. Or we can even use the artifacts that we create with our smelter as well and, you know, create additional copies there. And then other than that, you probably want to just clean up our land base a little bit. Our lands are a little bit all over the place for the most part. I mean, we are using our single copies of a lot of things just to kind of fill up the mana base outside of the basics. So we are using our 1 copy Den of the Bugbear. We're using 1 copy of Takenuma. We're using 1 copy of Blightstep Pathway, and we're using 1 copy of Haunted Ridge. So those are definitely areas that we could upgrade the deck additionally as well outside of the main deck. And upgrading rares are always very good, just because when you have additional rares for your decks, or having additional lands, I should say, for just in general, like, if there's another Rakdos deck that pops out come September or later, we are ready to have the lands at the ready, so we have additional copies. And it's just always good to have land flexibility, because having rare lands or powerful lands are definitely very good. If we were about a year earlier, I would say definitely Pathways are another great land to craft, just because they can be black or red mana in this sense, or any of the other dual the copies that are currently in the format. But nonetheless, slowly but surely, you're making progress on the deck. Finding little areas to upgrade at once is definitely very good. You don't have to always just go ahead and upgrade additional all at once. You don't need all the rares and all the mythics to get a deck in a place that it makes it somewhat playable. And just kind of making small goals within the deck. Okay, I need I need more Meathook Massacres. Okay, let me save up more wild cards. I can craft one at a time and take out the card that I'm replacing it with one at a time. And then, over time, you'll eventually have the card you want, and you'll get rid of the card that was kind of just a placeholder for that at the time being. But with that being said, guys, I mean, going through this whole challenge has definitely been a fun process. As we get through the tail end, it's just more of, we're just doing some things for stretch goals, just trying to do our best to do other things and just kind of show off that what is possible as a free-to-play player. This is definitely something that I was kind of thinking about maybe in the future. Maybe I revisit this series and we kind of do another, free-to-play account experience kind of thing, and we kind of start off with a fresh account, not really having too much to work with when it comes to building anything, kind of seeing what the experience is when it is when we do have like a mastery pass and stuff focus around standard. I do think we currently have a mastery pass that's based around Baldur's Gate, which is an alchemy set. Doesn't really help the effort, but I would like to see maybe down the road, see if they ever make any other improvements to the new player experience, and kind of see how that plays out for being a new player. It's definitely just been a fun series, and I feel like you guys have been enjoying this as well, which I can see by most of you guys watching. I feel like almost every day that I post one of these videos, so it's definitely been a great experience, just in general. And I've in a weird way also been enjoying the daily upload schedule, and I think recording these kind of a little bit ahead of time, giving myself that space in between recording, and also publishing has definitely been good too, so I'm not under pressure trying to do this the night before and then put it out the day after. I think that's definitely a good way to probably do my videos in the future, just because I was doing it just last minute kind of thing. But with that being said, guys, if you like the video, hit that like button, definitely helps out a lot. If you're new here, you want to post new videos on the channel, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Just want to give a special shout out to the channel members here on my YouTube channel. You can also become a channel member yourself down below the video, hitting that join button. It definitely helps out a lot, and I just appreciate you guys for your support.